The world of the young and the restless is full of unexpected situations and complicated relationships. Recently, a shocking event has made many people worried and raised big questions for the characters in the story. Phyllis Summers is missing. The question is not simply a woman disappearing, but also the constant worry from loved ones, causing chaos in Genoa City. Phyllis's disappearance is not a small story. After being unable to contact her, Daniel and Summer begin to feel more insecure than ever. Phyllis is a prominent person in the community, always proactive in contacting and participating in family meetings, but this time, she is mysteriously absent. This makes her family, especially Summer, very worried. The situation becomes more complicated when Billy Abbott receives an SOS signal from Paris. Billy, along with Sally Spectra, had just returned from a local pub, ready for an afternoon of bed rest. Despite his outward calm, Billy could not help but feel suspicious about Phyllis. No one knew what had really happened, but Billy sensed an inexplicable tension. After the family failed to reach Phyllis that morning, Daniel decided to call Billy to see if he had any new information about his mother. The story became even more complicated when Billy recalled that Phyllis had contacted him earlier, giving him an update on Daniel's new job at the company. She seemed very happy and excited about her son's new career, but that made Daniel even more worried about Phyllis's sudden absence. Billy, with his characteristic calmness, did not seem too worried. He assured Phyllis that nothing unusual had happened. In fact, she was still cheerful and seemed fine sharing about Daniel's work. However, Billy couldn't help but remember Phyllis's spontaneous personality. She often made spontaneous decisions, maybe a surprise trip or even a sudden date, without informing anyone. Phyllis. The mystery woman, Daniel, seemed to not believe that his mother could do something that would worry the family without warning. He began to question Phyllis's relationships, whether she was dating anyone. Phyllis's relationships with those around her were always full of mystery, but Daniel still thought that his mother would not let them worry for this long. Billy, with his understanding of Phyllis, came up with theories about where she could be. A sudden trip to Chicago? Or maybe she just wanted a quiet evening to relax? Phyllis is a person who likes to make her own decisions, sometimes in a rather unexpected way. However, this makes Daniel feel confused and more worried about her disappearance. Concern turns to suspicion. Every phone call, every new piece of information makes Daniel and Summer feel more confused. Is Phyllis in trouble? Or is she simply enjoying a little freedom and not wanting to be bothered? Whatever the reason, it is undeniable that the anxiety in the hearts of Phyllis's loved ones is increasing. Phyllis's silence is a sign that things may be getting out of control. Billy has made some assumptions about where she could have gone, but in reality, no one can be sure. Phyllis's relationships with those around her, especially past events, have always been mysterious and unpredictable. The investigation begins. Things get tense as Phyllis's family begins to truly fear her disappearance. Daniel and Summer both feel they can't sit idly by. An official investigation is about to begin, and Billy may be the key to providing the information needed to solve the mystery. But is Phyllis truly in danger, or is she simply testing her loved ones? Whatever the answer, one thing is certain: life will never be the same for the Summers family. Phyllis's disappearance has forced them to confront complex truths and strained relationships, not just between Phyllis and her family, but with everyone around her. Turbulent lives and secrets buried in the dark. However, a recent event has left everyone on edge: the sudden disappearance of Phyllis Summers. Not only has her family been left worried, but even those closest to her are at a loss to understand what is happening. And the investigation begins with many unanswered questions. Phyllis disappears, an unsolved mystery. Daniel and Summer could not believe their eyes when they saw that their mother, Phyllis, did not appear at the family breakfast she had long been looking forward to. She was always the one who actively participated in all family activities, but this time, she did not appear and did not leave any message. Things were starting to get confusing, and worries gradually filled the hearts of her loved ones. When he could not reach Phyllis by phone, Daniel decided to call Billy. He needed to know if Billy had heard anything about Phyllis from Paris. This was something that Billy couldn't help but think about. Having just returned from the pub with Sally, Billy was enjoying a break, preparing to relax in the bedroom with her. However, a sudden feeling of anxiety invaded. There was no denying that something was wrong. Billy answered the phone with his usual calmness, not showing any undue concern. He recalled that Phyllis had contacted him a few days ago, happy to announce Daniel's new job and excited about future plans. Phyllis didn't seem to be in any big trouble. She was normal, excited, and very concerned about her son. However, Billy couldn't help but remember Phyllis's outstanding personality. She always did things unexpectedly without notice. A sudden trip to Chicago? An unannounced date? With Phyllis, anything was possible. Daniel and Summer, the worried Daniel, though he didn't want to admit it, deep down he couldn't understand why his mother would do such a thing. How could Phyllis leave her family to worry without any explanation? He was worried that she might be in danger without anyone knowing. Daniel called Billy, but Billy's explanation that Phyllis might just be looking for some space didn't satisfy him. No, he believed that something bigger was going on. Meanwhile, Summer, Phyllis's daughter, felt her heart sink when she couldn't get in touch with her mother. Daniel's advice couldn't ease her unease. She knew her mother too well, and if Phyllis didn't show up for an important event, something must be wrong. Billy, the explanation provider Billy, despite his calm demeanor, couldn't help but worry about Phyllis's strange silence. He knew her well, and her suddenness could always cause unexpected reactions. Billy began to think about the possibilities. Was Phyllis in an emergency that she didn't want anyone to know about? Or did she simply want to escape from everything and find freedom, a quiet moment for herself? Billy thought about hypotheses, from a secret trip to an unexpected meeting with someone. He explained to Daniel that Phyllis might have gone somewhere without telling anyone. Maybe she was looking for a new feeling, or simply looking for a place to relax, which Phyllis desperately needed. But one thing was undeniable: Phyllis's silence raised a series of unanswered questions. A tense investigation. Daniel and Summer are increasingly tense and anxious. They can't sit still, can't wait for a call from their mother. And when Phyllis doesn't give them any explanation, it only makes them more uneasy. Is Phyllis in real danger? Or is she just hiding for reasons only she knows? The investigation is about to unfold. Daniel and Summer decide they can't let things go by without taking action. They must find out the truth about Phyllis's disappearance, even if it means uncovering secrets they never wanted to face. With Phyllis missing, everyone around them is facing tense situations. Billy, Daniel, and Summer will have to try to piece together the scattered pieces of the truth. Theories about Phyllis's whereabouts will be put forth, but does anyone really know this woman as well as they think? And when the truth is finally revealed, will it change everything they know about Phyllis and her loved ones? The story of Phyllis's disappearance is not just a simple investigation, but also a journey to discover long-hidden secrets, and will be one of the most compelling stories that audiences cannot take their eyes off the screen. In the tense days of Genoa City, nothing shocks people more than the sudden disappearance of Phyllis Summers. Everything starts out normal, until Phyllis fails to show up for the family breakfast she was always eager to attend. This leaves Summer, Daniel, and everyone closest to her with a growing fear. Summer and the silent worry. Summer, despite her strong appearance, feels weaker than ever in this moment. She cannot understand why her mother left her family without a word. Every call, every text from Phyllis goes unanswered. Unanswered questions are slowly arising in Summer's mind. She blames herself for not paying attention to Daniel's worries last night. She should have listened to him more, but now it's all too late. With each passing second, Summer felt that anxiety looming over her. Was something serious wrong with her mother? Or was she simply doing something unexpected and unannounced, like she usually did? Billy and the worrying call. While Summer was lost in her thoughts, Billy Abbott was dealing with another stress. After disconnecting from Daniel, he decided to leave a voicemail for Phyllis. Billy's voice was filled with urgency as he asked her to call her children back, as they were worried about her. While there was no denying that Phyllis was a person who made decisions without asking for anyone's consent, this time, Billy knew that she needed to contact her family. Billy also reminded Phyllis to text him back when she got the message. He needed to make sure she was okay. However, a part of him couldn't help but worry, and the feeling grew. He sensed that something was wrong. Phyllis had always been strong and unyielding, but this time, her silence made everything vague and uncertain. Sally, Billy's companion, had noticed the tension in him. She could sense the obvious anxiety that Billy couldn't hide. A big question arose in Sally's mind: did Billy want to go back to Genoa City right now, to find Phyllis? However, Billy still tried to reassure her, affirming that Phyllis would probably be found before his flight landed. Even so, Billy didn't want to miss his last night in Paris with Sally. He decided to stay, enjoy this time with her, at least until he was sure that Phyllis was okay. Summer calls Chance. The official investigation begins. While Billy and Sally were enjoying their last time in Paris, Summer couldn't sit still. She decided to take action. The feeling of insecurity is unbearable, and she cannot let her mother go missing without doing anything. Summer contacts Chance Chancellor, who she knows has the ability to handle legal and investigative matters. Summer needs Chance's help to find Phyllis. Chance, despite still feeling guilty about what happened to Daniel, agrees immediately. He knows that helping Summer find Phyllis is the only way to make up for the mistakes he has made. When Chance arrives at GCAC, he quickly realizes the truth that Phyllis has disappeared without a trace. This makes Chance more determined than ever to investigate and find her. Amy and the breaking news. While everything is going on in Genoa City, on the other side of town, Amy Lewis also has important news to share with Nate and Audra. However, the news Amy brings is not what anyone expected. She reveals that there is a connection between Phyllis and an event that no one in town knows about. While this information is unclear, it will certainly create questions and suspicions in the community. Nate, who has always tried to keep things under control, begins to feel uneasy knowing that Phyllis's deepest secrets may be coming to light. Audra, who is not directly involved with Phyllis, but senses the tension in the air, decides to join Nate in finding out more about the information Amy shared. A race in time. When Chance decides to step in to officially investigate Phyllis's disappearance, all the pieces of the puzzle begin to come together. Summer, still worried, feels like every minute is a wasted minute. Billy, despite being in Paris, can't stop thinking about Phyllis. Phyllis's disappearance has not only shaken up the Summers family, but has also raised suspicions in the town. The investigation has officially begun, and as everyone searches for Phyllis, the secrets behind her disappearance are slowly revealed. Is Phyllis in real danger? Or is she simply carrying out a surprise plan that no one could have predicted? Life in Genoa City is full of surprises, but never has an event caused such anxiety and turmoil among the people here as the sudden disappearance of Phyllis Summers. It all started when she was absent from the family breakfast she had been looking forward to. Phyllis was always the one who maintained connections and participated in family events, but this time, her silence caused a wave of anxiety in the hearts of her relatives, especially Summer and Daniel. Summer, guilt and unspeakable anxiety. Summer, despite being strong and determined in her work, could not help but feel anxious. She could not understand why her mother had disappeared without a trace, leaving everyone behind without an explanation. This made her feel even more guilty, because the night before, she had not listened to Daniel's concerns about Phyllis. She blamed herself. A feeling of torment overwhelmed her mind, wondering if her mother had encountered danger that no one knew about. Summer tried to call, but received no answer from Phyllis. Each hopeless call was like a stab in her heart. Her mother, who was always strong and energetic, was now absent at important moments. Was something serious happening to Phyllis? Billy and the worrying call. While Summer was drowning in worry, Billy Abbott could not calm down either. After ending the call with Daniel, he immediately returned with a decision that could not be delayed. Phyllis had to know that her family was worried about her. He left a voice message for Phyllis, his voice full of anxiety. "Phyllis, please call the kids back, they are worried about you." Billy knew that Phyllis was not someone who could be easily forced to do anything, but this time, he had to emphasize to make her realize the importance of this. Billy also reminded Phyllis to text him when she got the message, to let him know she was okay. However, a part of him couldn't help but worry. Phyllis wasn't someone who would get upset easily, but her sudden disappearance made everything confusing. Was she in danger? Or was she simply going on an adventure that no one knew about? Sally, Billy's companion, immediately noticed the change in his mood. She sensed the tension in him, a worry that he couldn't hide. Sally couldn't help but wonder if Billy wanted to go back to Genoa City to find Phyllis. However, Billy reassured her, affirming that Phyllis wouldn't let things go that far. Besides, he wanted to enjoy his last night in Paris with Sally, not wanting everything to be interrupted. So he decided to stay, at least for tonight. Summer decides to act. Although Billy and Sally are in Paris, Summer cannot sit idly by while things are still in a state of confusion. She decides to do something immediately. The feeling of unease is unquenchable, and she calls Chance Chancellor, someone she knows will be able to help in this situation. Summer asked Chance to come to GCAC to learn more about Phyllis's disappearance. Chance, despite struggling with past mistakes, agrees to help immediately. He knows that if he doesn't help Summer, he will never be able to make up for the mistakes he made with Daniel. When Chance arrives at GCAC and confirms Phyllis's disappearance, he is determined to investigate until he finds the truth. His doubts grow, and he knows that finding Phyllis is not a simple matter. There may be more secrets that they don't know about. Amy and the shocking news. While Chance begins his investigation, in another corner of town, Amy Lewis has some big news to share. She meets with Nate and Audra, and can no longer keep the information to herself. Amy reveals that there is a connection between Phyllis and a series of events that no one knows about. Although she doesn't reveal the details, Amy's words make Nate and Audra stop and think about what's going on around them. Nate, who likes things to have a reason, begins to realize that Phyllis may be caught up in a much more complicated situation than anyone realizes. Audra, although not directly involved with Phyllis, notices the obvious tension in the air. She and Nate decide to investigate the information Amy has provided together, hoping to find a connection between Phyllis and the events happening in town. Summer can't wait any longer. She decides to take matters into her own hands to find out the truth about her mother's disappearance. Her anxiety is slowly turning into determination, and she begins to feel like every second is a wasted moment. Billy, even in Paris, can't stop thinking about Phyllis. Even though he knows he'll find her after the flight lands, the worry won't go away. Everyone in Genoa City feels the tension rising. The official investigation has begun, and as people continue to search for Phyllis, secrets surrounding her are slowly being revealed. Secrets uncovered. The investigation into Phyllis's disappearance is more than just a simple search. It opens up deep, unknown secrets, complicated relationships, and difficult decisions that Phyllis's loved ones will have to face. Is Phyllis in real danger, or is she simply carrying out a plan that only she knows? These questions will only be answered when the truth about Phyllis's disappearance is fully revealed. This journey is not only about discovering the truth but also about the Summers family and Phyllis's loved ones fighting to find her and protect what is most precious. The story continues, and everyone hopes that they will find Phyllis before it is too late.